start in a sitting or kneeling position today. I'll just explain my theme, and the theme is that I want to create a centering of energy. In other words, we draw energy to a central point. Now, as you know, we have 7 chakras, so we can think of energy gathering at any of the chakras that we choose to focus on. And what I want to do this evening is start with the heart center and then work down to the solar plexus chakra, then to the one at the sacrum, and finally to the root chakra. Each of these chakras has an increasingly intense quality of energy concentration. So when we start with the heart center, it can be more a feeling of just gentle composure as the energy gathers at that place. And as we move down, it gets more and more intense till right down at the base we'll have very, very strong concentrated focus of strength down in that point. So the first exercise that we'll do for the heart center is the circle of the heart. And this helps energy to gather at the heart center because of this very sensitive quality of feeling. You all know the exercise, but when we do the exercise, what's important is firstly that we think the circle very clearly, and then we feel it in a very sensitive and vivid kind of way. And it's that quality that brings a sense of using our heart to feel, so it can help the energy to gather in that way. So would you like to sit in any comfortable upright position, spine upright, your neck long, shoulders relaxed. Just pause for a moment first so we can compose our minds and become aware of the breathing. The breathing should be allowed to be very gentle in this exercise, and we can be aware of it throughout. So take your hands up to the top of what's going to be your circle. Breath still flowing freely and consciously. And now start to conjure up the picture of the circle in front of you. Keep the eyes open and let the circle gradually become more vivid. It gradually forms itself. And eventually, when you have a feeling that the circle is really quite present, just gently touch its edges with your hands. So now this feeling activity comes in. Feel quite consciously the edges of the circle we've already created with our thoughts. Okay, when you finish this circle, just rest your hands on your lap and just pause for a few moments with your awareness at your heart center. The centering of energy to the heart center is quite subtle. It just gives a peaceful and gentle feeling of composure, the kind of feeling that we have our own center. So would you like to come up to a standing position, and we'll move our attention down now to the solar plexus chakra, which, as you will all know, has a much more alive vibrant kind of quality. It's a very active center. But we'll start first of all just by taking our awareness to it and not trying to stretch too actively too quickly. We can let the physical activity build up. Take your hands up above your head, just gently. Keep the breath flowing freely, but direct your awareness to that region of the solar plexus center at the diaphragm, at the stomach, in the middle of your back. Keep your awareness at that point, allowing the breath to expand in whatever way happens naturally, and take the hands down again by your sides. So we're going to do a few of the forward bends and springing up into the standing half moon in the way that we very often do. And when you come up into the standing half moon, you can start to picture that your body is going to grow, that that region of the solar plexus is going to expand. But the expansion comes out of your picturing activity, not in a directly physical way. Come into the forward bend first. Let the breath flow. Keep feet and legs stable. And keep the upper body hanging relaxed. Shoulders and neck relaxed. Just allowing the breath to change in whatever way happens naturally. So when you come up, you can use your arms a little bit and swing in a very free movement right the way up into the openness. And now take your awareness to the solar plexus again. And this time, we're going to picture that a growing movement starts from that center upwards. We don't force too quickly with the body. We allow it to follow as a result of our picturing. The movement streams upwards through the spine and through the arms and the fingertips. Take the hands down. Let's repeat that activity a couple more times so that each time it can increase a bit more. Relaxing first of all. Free breath. This relaxing stage of the exercise creates space. Space in the lungs, space in the shoulders, space around the neck and head. And when you're ready, loosen the arms, a very free movement swinging up through the air. Awareness comes to the solar plexus before you try to stretch up. Then you start the picturing process. Energy streams up out of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the center from which this dynamic energy flow happens. Take the hands down. We'll do that movement one more time. You can soften your knees just a little and come down once again. Allowing time for the development of this space. Being aware of your breath. So the breathing will change as more of an awareness of space develops. And then you can come freely up again, feet firmly on the ground. Take the awareness to the solar plexus. The energy gathers itself in that center through the attention we give it. And from there it can stream powerfully upwards through the upper spine, through the arms, out through the fingertips, coming into a really active stretch. and take the hands down. So we'll stay with the solar plexus center and we'll come into the sun prayer. So our thought is energy gathers at the solar plexus center, and from that center it can create this dynamic energy to grow upwards. Take the hands together. Take the arms gently up to start with. Picture that streaming up from the solar plexus. Take the hands down and look in. Take the right foot back, come into the base. From the solar plexus, stream actively upwards. Come into the plank. Take the knees, chest and face downwards. Come forwards and curl up into the cobra. Push into downward dog. And take the right foot forward. Grow upwards from the solar plexus, streaming up. And take the left foot forward. Come up again. From the center, streaming up. And take the hands down. Hands together. Take the arms up, growing. Come forwards and look in. Left foot back. Come up into the half moon, streaming up from the solar plexus. Come into the plank. Take the knees, chest and face down. Slide forwards and open into the cobra. Push into downward dog. Take the left foot forward. Come back up again. And take the right foot forward. Come right the way up. Streaming up. And take the hands down. Some of you joined yesterday morning's class, and the theme, if you remember, that we had then, the whole class was centered around the solar plexus. And the theme that I had was that we need a real sense of space in order for that solar plexus to really find its activity. We took the energy from the space to center it at the solar plexus so that we could increase that sense of spaciousness with the solar plexus movements. Let's take that thought into our next round of the sun prayer. In other words, in order to really find a good centering in the solar plexus chakra, we need to be aware that there is space. We need to allow space around the head, around the neck, and also in particular in our breathing. So take the hands together. Be aware that your head then is surrounded by space. Take the arms up into that space. The fingertips stay light. The movement happens in your middle. That's active. But the head and the arms and the hands are light. Take the hands down and look in. Take the right foot back. Form a good base with the legs. And then take the arms up into that space. So you can now grow more actively from the center, retaining the space above. Come into the plank. Take the knees down, chest and face down. Slide along the ground. Open up into the cobra. Again, just pause, be aware of the space. And you can open up your rib cage even more. Then push into the downward dog. Keep breathing. Whole spine lengthens upwards. Right foot forward. Good base with the legs. Take the arms up through the space. Just once again, become aware of that spaciousness around the head and the arms, then grow a bit more from the solar plexus. Take the other foot forward and look in. Come right the way up into the space again. Let the breath flow. Head and neck very free. And from the solar plexus, start to lift up from the rib cage, streaming upwards into the space. Take the hands down. Free breath. Hands together. Arms come lightly up into the open space around. The centering is in the solar plexus, so you grow up from there. Take the hands forwards, looking in again. Take the left foot back, make a good base with your legs. Then take the arms up high into the space, and you can grow between that base and the open space above, actively from the solar plexus. Come into the plank. Knees, chest and face down. Slide along the ground, looking into the space around you. Free breath. Come into downward dog. Good long back from the triangle. Left foot forward. Good base with the legs. Coming right the way up. Streaming upwards more. And take the right foot forward. Come actively up. Growing from the solar plexus a bit more. And take the hands down. Just pause. Take your awareness to that solar plexus region. In particular, when we've worked on that region, when we've centered the energy there, we feel a fuller, expansive flow of breath around the rib cage. We feel more alive in that region. So we'll move down to the second center. So this is, as you know, in a region of the sacrum, lower part of your abdomen. So it's just really the top section of the pelvis. First center is lower down in the pelvis. The second center is the sacrum, which is the bit of bone that slots into the top of the pelvis. And we're going to do the standing head to knee position. Let's come into it a first time, just keeping our awareness on this center. Take the hands up lightly, keep the feet firmly on the ground, the legs together. Let's come into this forward bend, rest the fingers lightly on the ground, head relaxed. Don't try to grow too much this first time. For the first time, we'll just simply take our awareness to the sacral center. The exercise is literally to keep your attention at that point for a period of time. Letting the breath flow freely. Okay, you can soften your knees a little bit, and then in a free movement swing gently back up. Just remaining aware this time, not growing so much, but being aware of that region at the sacrum. Keeping the legs tightened. You can press your ankle bones together, you can keep your thighs together, and that helps in turn to find more of a tightening in that region of the sacrum. And take the hands down. So a sense of lightness and spaciousness out in front of us, is also very important in this exercise because it enables the body to grow forwards. But our real focus is going to be on this centering in this, this chakra, and the movement quite powerfully now, more powerfully than when we worked with the third in a way, in a more concentrated way, we can push backwards with our bottom as we come out. So we'll focus more intensively on that center now, and we'll let the hands just come out a little bit further in front than they did last time. Take your arms up above your head, breath flowing freely, face relaxed. Think of the region of your sacrum, direct it quite actively backwards, and let your upper body and your hands come out in front, keeping the lightness a little bit further out than last time. Breath flowing freely, but directing backwards with your sacrum. So we can be aware as we do this that the activity is really guided from the region of the sacrum. Just relax down again. Come swinging freely up. Keep the awareness at the sacrum, the feet and the legs drawn together. A feeling of a subtle gathering happening in the region of the pelvis, and the upper body just flowing upwards as a result of what's happened underneath. And take the hands down. So this chakra is very much connected with the element of water and with the quality of flowing. So let's bring a picture of flowing into our movement this time, and I'm going to demonstrate it first this time. That the energy gathers at that center, and that gives rise to this flowing quality which carries the upper body outwards. So in the same way, I'm going to direct backwards with my sacrum, and now if I picture a flowing movement out through the spine, that flowing movement which is anchored right from the sacrum, which pushes back, the flowing movement out forwards carries my body with it, out into something new, out into something beyond, a new experience. Then you can relax down and come back up. So, do you like to gather your feet and legs together again? Try to sense of tightness, take the awareness right to your sacrum. Take your arms up above your head. Breath flowing lightly and freely. So the movement is guided from the sacrum. You can direct it backwards and take the body out. Hands far out in front, looking ahead. So now comes the mental picturing. By directing your sacrum backwards, you provide the anchor from which you can flow forwards, but that flowing forwards happens by consciously picturing a forward moving stream out along your spine and arms. Fingers coming right forward. You can look ahead, keep breathing. And then relax down again. Swing freely up. Feet and legs drawn together. And stay with that sense of flowing, that picture of flowing from the sacrum up through the spine. And take the hands down. I'm going to stay with this sacral center for the next exercise, which is the locust. So can you lie down on your fronts and take your arms underneath your body so you can bring your arms right close together, elbows straight so you form a good lever, thumbs side by side. And if that is uncomfortable to have a fist, put your hands next to each other and roll over to lie on top of your arms, feet together, chin resting on the floor. Take your awareness once again back to the sacrum. This time the movement is backwards and up through one leg. Keep the breath flowing freely. So we can picture that the energy centers itself at the sacrum, and from there it streams outwards through that raised leg, carrying the leg up and out backwards. Right up high. Come back down again. Keep the breath flowing. And the other side, from the sacrum, up and out backwards. Breath flowing freely. And come back down. Just have a pause. So we'll come into the exercise again, but this time we'll give it a little bit more of a dynamic thrust. So we're intensifying the activity, as I promised. So that from the sacrum, we're going to grow right up, quite a thrust, so that you'll feel quite a tightening now in the region of your sacrum. Whenever you're ready, right up high with one leg. Come back down again. Just pause. Forehead is relaxed. Breath is relaxed. Take the awareness to the sacrum, and with an active thrust right up high with the other leg. Feeling a tightness, a contraction in the region of the sacrum. Come back down. Same thing now with both legs. Make sure that you have a good awareness of the sacrum before you start. Your attention is directed to the sacrum. Free breath. And when you're ready, with a very active thrust, take both legs up. Keep breathing. Okay, come back down again. I think you can do better than that. We'll have another go. So good pause. Tell you what, just have a look over here. Watch me do it first, so that you've got a picture in your mind. So we need to have, it's all about gathering our thought before we come up into it. We're not only centering the body, we're centering our thinking. I'm thinking of this and the movement right up backwards. Okay, so when you're ready, your turn. Just take the awareness to the sacrum and picture a really active, decisive movement first. And when you've done your picturing, you can come right up into it. In your own time. So if you're really struggling to get both legs off the ground, I would suggest trying once again with single legs, because it can really give you the feeling for it. If you do an active thrust up like that with one leg, it gives you that sense of real oomph. Okay, good. Let's come into child's pose. And come back up again. So before we come to the first center, which is an even stronger one, we are going to do a more peaceful one, which is also about centering. We're going to do Gomukhasana, the face of the cow, which is, as you all know it, the one where you take your arms behind your back and you clasp your hands. So you can either do it in kneeling position, or you can do it with one knee on top of the other. So if we're talking about centering here, in this position, actually the energy centers at the forehead, but it centers at the forehead because we hold a very clear mental picture in front of our forehead. And the picture that we're going to hold is of the spine forming a very straight line. It's actually our central axis, so it's a centering picture. So let's start then right from the outset with that picture. The spine forms a vertical line from the top of the head right down to the base of the spine. Just take that picture into your mind. The spine forms one long vertical line. You're going to hold that picture throughout. You can take your arms widely up now to let them form an extension of that vertical line, right up through to the fingertips. Hold that picture, one vertical line. And then take your right arm in a great big circle right round. Take the hand up between your shoulder blades and grow upwards more into the left arm, right up high, still keeping that vertical line. Then bend that left elbow, and if you can take your fingers, do so, otherwise just grab hold of your shirt. And come back to the picture of the straight vertical line from the top of the head down to the base of the spine. So make sure that your neck is not tilted, you're not looking up, but that the back of the neck is integrated into that sense of the vertical line. So your eyes should be directed, well, I find it most peaceful to direct the eyes just gently downwards to the floor. Breath flowing freely. And take both arms right up above the head. Yeah, so good. Upward movement. Okay, so now take the left arm in a great big circle. Take the hands up between the shoulder blades and just lengthen up the other arm, so you're really stretching as much as possible out of the shoulder. Then bend from the elbow. Take the fingers if you can, or just your shirt. And once again, come back to that mental picture. Free breath. The spine forms one vertical line. Stay with that picture. Take both arms up above the head. And take the hands back down. Gently flowing breath. And come up to a standing position. So I'm coming right down to the first center. So the first center is around about where your coccyx is. The whole region of the pelvic floor, the lower part of the pelvis. And when we do this center, as we gradually build up the energy, we can, what I like to picture is a real tightening I'll just do it in front of my camera. I like to picture that happening, a real tightening happening in that center. So we're going to again build it up slowly. Start with a good upright position, shoulders relaxed. Then you can take one leg up, taking hold of the knee with the same hand. Just let the breath flow, but just draw that knee gradually further and further in towards your chest. So as you let go with that knee, you'll start to feel that those muscles down in your pelvis have to tighten. Tightening happens deep in the pelvis. Come back down again. Okay, so we're just going to start with the knee, not so much the shin, just holding the knee to begin with. Have a good uprightness. Long neck, shoulders relaxed. Take that other knee. Calm breath. Start to draw it up towards your chest. And then let go with the hand and see if you can hold it in place. And come back down again. So one thing that can help with really strengthening this center is the sense of the two legs working in opposite directions, where, as you may realize, we're working towards the standing splits, which ultimately is when the two legs really are taking a huge big stride in opposite directions. Doesn't matter if you can't straighten out that leg, we can still work on the principle, which is of these two legs striding apart. So let's do exactly the same movement, but this time with the thought that one leg's going down while the other leg is going up. Keep the breath free, good upright posture. Take the first leg up, but think of pressing one leg down so that you've got something to work against with the raised leg. Drawing the knee right up close towards you so there's more activation coming about in your pelvis. Let go with the hand and see if you can hold that knee upwards by really pushing the other leg down. Yeah, good. Come back down again. Keep a good uprightness. Thinking tall helps the balance. Take the other leg up. So one leg is pushing into the ground. The other leg is growing away from it. Draw that knee right up towards your chest. Keep breathing. Now, as you let go with the hand, you want to try and keep that knee as high as possible. So, two legs actively moving away from each other. Good. So that's already looking a little bit better. Yep, you can loosen out your legs if you need to. So let's try then taking hold of the ankle or the foot this time. Keep a good uprightness. We'll stay with the same thought. One leg is pressing down. The other leg you can bring right up, draw the knee up. Then take the arm inside and you can either take the hand around your ankle or you take the hand over the top of your foot so that you can take the foot around the outside. So stay with that same idea that one leg presses down and the other leg is growing up. You can see how there has to be an activity of growing right up out of your pelvis to do this, to stay really straight. Okay, and back down again. Good uprightness, long neck, relaxed shoulders. So one leg pushes down into the ground while the other leg comes up. You can take your knee first if you need to, or you might find you can just take the foot directly, whichever. But in either case, stay with that thought, the two legs kind of working away from each other, and it's that activity that helps a real tightening to come about in that first center. Okay, good. This is coming on nicely. Take the foot down. So we're going to have one final go at this one. What's important is not just that we have the leg activity, but when we talk of this first center, we also want to have a growing activity up through the spine. And we can help to get that. Let me just demonstrate this. We're going to come up again, taking the knee, ankle or foot, growing with the two legs, and then we're going to help the uprightness by also raising that arm so we can really stretch actively up. Now if you're able to straighten out that leg a little bit, however far it comes, you can do so, even if it's only a little way, doesn't matter. But the important thing is that you don't lose the uprightness through the body. Okay, so feet firmly on the ground, good uprightness, shoulders relaxed, breath relaxed. So take the first leg, one foot's going down, the other leg is coming up, the knee towards you. Then take the hand inside and take hold of the ankle or the foot. Stay with that thought that the two legs are actually growing away from each other. Now take the arm up as well, so you can actively stream upwards through the spine. And then if you're able to start straightening out that leg, you can do. Okay, and come back down again. And done. Good uprightness, one last time on the other side. Let's really think tall. So one foot goes down into the ground, you take up the other knee, ankle or foot. Stretch between the two legs so an activity is coming into your pelvis. Raise the arm right the way up high so you get a good growth upwards. And then if you're able to also unfold the leg, you can do so. Everything stays streaming upwards out of that first center. Free breath. And come back down again. Okay, let's just roll down and relax the upper body. Breath flowing freely. Neck relaxed, face relaxed. And come right the way up into the standing position again. Just let the breath flow freely. Take the arms down by your sides. Let's just finish off in the standing position, just with the calm reflection. We've finished off by centering our energy right down in the pelvis. You can feel, you can just take your attention to that region, right into the pelvis where the first chakra is. And when we work with that center, we also get a contrasting feeling at the same time that the head is very free. The head is lifted very high. And so it's really sitting high up on top of your body, not weighed down into your shoulders, but very high and alert and free. That can be one effect of working with the first center. Let's finish the session there.